Hello, we're celebrating Independence Day, life, and liberty. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pro-Life Praise. You remember in 2020, we celebrated Independence Day. That's July 4th. We were still dealing with many COVID restrictions. Now we've got some independence from COVID, thank God, and things are relaxing. So we're really glad to come back this year with a new Pro-Life Praise show talking about Independence Day. Independence Day all around the world means something to whatever culture and whatever ethnic group is celebrating. But here in the United States, we celebrate July 4th when we won our independence from Britain in 1776. So that is what we're celebrating. I've been getting quite a few comments about, well, we just had Juneteenth. Will Juneteenth now replace Independence Day? Absolutely not. Emancipation Day or Juneteenth is when the slaves found out in 1865 that President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation ending skin color slavery, people with brown and black skin being slaves in America. And so we do celebrate that in June, and then we move right into July with the celebration of Independence Day. Now, I'm longing for and hoping for another Independence Day, and that's for the little babies in the womb. And we're going to talk about that with my very special musical guest, Father Dennis Wilde. You know Father Dennis as a priest and pastoral associate at Priest for Life, and that's where I am as well. However, he's musical and I'm musical, so you'll also get to see a couple of our music videos today. However, let's bring Father Dennis on right now. I will reintroduce him because if you've been following the show, you've seen him on Pro-Life Praise before. Hi, Father Dennis. It's just
Hey, how are you doing, Alveda? Good to be with you today.
You know what? You were telling me something about a testament of freedom. And it's so important to discuss that right now during an independence season. Tell us about Testament of Freedom, Father Dennis.
Well, Randall Thompson was one of the greatest choral directors and choral composers of the 19th century, actually 20th century, I should say. And he wrote a lot of music about America in there. But one of the most popular pieces is called The Testament of Freedom. And the words are beautiful. We'll probably get back to it even talking later on it. But it stirs up, when we looked at the title of this show, which was about life and freedom, they go together. And that's exactly what is engraved on the Jefferson Memorial, rather, and in Washington, D.C., words of Thomas Jefferson, the God who gave us life, gave us liberty at the same time. The hand of force may destroy, but cannot disjoin them. Very powerful, almost bringing things into war, bringing things into the highest crucible of things about life and liberty. They go together. Things may destroy, such as what we had in slavery as one of the things, such as the world wars and so on. Anyway, all of those things add up to this magnificent piece of music, The Testament of Freedom. And the words that are given there are the beginning and the end of that magnificent piece of music. It's something which I conducted myself in the past when I was music director at Villanova, and I've also sung in it as well. Beautiful piece of music.
Well, I hope that our listeners and viewers will look it up, and I'll make sure that I play it as well. I'm always excited when you bring new musical concepts and pieces to my attention. It adds to my life. Music is very important in our movement, my friends, and you'll notice that I will bring music to you. I will bring musical guests to you from time to time. Phil Williams used to come on quite a bit. So we're very, very excited to hear about that, Father Dennis. Now, your other music, and there's a concept sometimes about Christmas in July. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Christmas in July, and we're right up on the 4th of July. This show will come on right before the 4th of July. And you also do beautiful Christmas music. And at our bookstore, folks, if you want to know more about Father Dennis, at our bookstore, on the website, we've got his Christmas track, Keys to Christmas. And as well, if you go to priestforlife.org on the homepage, the Pastoral Associates, you can click on Father Dennis's picture and find out more about Father Dennis there. Certainly over at the Priest for Life bookstore, please go over there and check out the Keys to Christmas track. Also in the bookstore, we have my book with Ginger Howard, and you can order that book too. I think you'll get an autograph copy, actually. Ginger Howard and I, we're not colorblind, celebrating ethnicity, saying that we can see skin color and we celebrate ethnicity, but skin color denotes ethnicity. We are one blood and one human race. So there are other materials, so much information there for you at the Priest for Life bookstore. And I really do want you to visit that. Also, I have a new song out with Kathy Lee Gifford, Your Way, Yahweh. And I think I'll just pause for a minute here to let you see a minute and 20 seconds of that project. And then we're going to come right back to Father Dennis, because we're going to hear more about his wonderful, powerful music. I have a philosophy: overcome evil with good. That's in the Bible. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So I began to get to know God more, Yahweh. Let me do this your way, Yahweh. And that began to form as a song. So I met Ian and Barry. To my surprise, Kathy Lee Gifford came in on the project, and we began to worship the Lord. In all the earth, there's none beside you. Open our eyes and let us see. So it just shows us that we as people can come together. Now we just have to really learn how to say, your way, Yahweh. Are we going to stop doing it our way and start doing it God's way? My name is Alveda King. I'm inviting you to join in the worship experience, Your Way, Yahweh. So, Father Dennis, that's Christmas in July. Now, I've had the wonderful opportunity and blessing to be with you during one of your concerts for life. As a matter of fact, I did a little singing and leading the audience, and we did a duet, and that was absolutely remarkable. Now, you have one of the concerts for life over on that same website as that Christmas music, right? Tell us about Concerts for Life and specifically that project.
Sure. That was something we did at Villanova. We recorded that, and it was a CD, but now, as you say, it's online. You can get it at the same place as well. That was a classical rendition of things. I did some Gershwin pieces, but I started off with Grieg. I did some Beethoven. So it kind of ran the gamut of classical piano music. And I ended with, as I say, the Gershwin, which was a collage of another great American composer that we often overlook. Wrote a lot about America and other things too. So that's about a 45-minute, maybe 50-minute rendition of classical pieces that we did.
Okay, well, that's, you know what, this is so exciting. And folks, I'd like to bring you a little music. That's why the name of the show is Pro-Life Praise. So we praise and we sing and we teach and we talk and we bring you current events. Back to our theme, though, you have done Stars and Stripes forever, and I think it's appropriate. And if you missed it the last time, folks, you're going to love this. Let's get this video up right now. Father Dennis playing Stars and Stripes forever. So, Stars and Stripes Forever, with all the flourishes and the crescendos and all of that. I have a song too, Father Dennis. It's called Let Freedom Ring, a musical video. I wrote that song in 1974, and then we redid it just a couple of years ago here in this century. Let Freedom Ring, because as I would hear people talk about freedom and liberty, and they wanted to honor my uncle, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he and my dad, of course, Reverend A.D. King, as you know, were warriors together in the civil rights movement of the 20th century. And I was a youth organizer back there. So after Uncle Emil was killed in 68, and then my dad was killed in 69, people were still trying to struggle and find a way and find a human hero and making a legend out of Martin Luther King Jr. and all of that. But they just kept talking about Martin Luther King Jr. so much. But I didn't hear people talking about God. And Martin Luther King Jr. and my dad and my granddaddy, Reverend A.D. King, Martin Luther King Sr., they believed in God. And our strength of the movement of the 20th century, the freedom movement of the mid-20th century, was God. We prayed and we sought God. So I wrote a song. This little phrase kept coming into my mind, and then the full melody and the full song. Let freedom ring. And thank God that King had a dream. Give the glory and the credit to God, not Martin Luther King. So anyway, rather than me keep talking about it, let's watch Let Freedom Ring.
It is the sound of a dream not yet forgotten.
I have a dream today.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic I Have a Dream speech still seared in the minds of so many.
Free!
we hope you enjoyed that Let Freedom Ring video. And I'm always saying, and Father Dennis says it in his way, we all say it, freedom needs to ring for everybody. We're one blood, one race, one human race, and that's from the womb to the tomb. So skin color racism, slavery for any reason, human trafficking, poverty, all of that. We stand for God's way to bless all humans through these situations. However, I keep saying that the babies need to be free in the womb. There needs to be a Juneteenth, an Independence Day, a freedom celebration for the babies in the womb. That's why, as executive director of the film Roe v. Wade, the Roe v. Wade movie, we want people to know how abortion became legal in America, why abortion became legal in America, and we want to be praying and asking you to join us in saying that the babies in the womb need civil rights. Civil rights for the unborn.org. You can visit me over at that site to see more about that. Here's the trailer from Roe v. Wade, the movie.
We will hear arguments in Roe against Wade. You may proceed.
If you really want to know how abortion became legal in our country, I will tell you the true story.
Dr. Mildred Jefferson, would you like to head up a Right to Life group that I'm starting?
Dr. Bernard Nathanson's clinics are performing 1,000 abortions per week. That's why I'm taking up the fight.
I wanted to get abortion legalized across the country.
We're looking for a pregnant girl to challenge the abortion laws. We'll give her a pseudonym. Call her Jane Roe.
It's genius that way no one will ever know about her past.
First, they came after the Jews, and then they came after the mentally deficient. We did nothing. And now they're coming after the unborn. And so you're gonna do nothing?
Robert Byrd for Henry Wade.
No judge or jury in their right mind would ever let abortion happen in Texas.
You've been watching too much TV. This case has nothing to do with women's rights.
It's God's duty to forgive. It's ours to rule the law. You're changing your vote because your family found out. Or was it the media?
If we don't sort this out, fur will fly today. You are trying to control us, Warren, old buddy. That is completely unethical.
In the matter of Roe v. Wade, I want the case re-argued.
Faith in God, respect for his law.
That law being?
Human law.
We got the majority.
We're gonna win.
Perhaps this is beyond the authority of the Supreme Court.
We are the law of the land.
These girls should not be put through the pregnancy and should be entitled to an abortion.
God, forgive me. What have I done?
The true silent minority who is speaking for these children.
Father Dennis, not only was I executive producer on Roe v. Wade, I had the honor of portraying the mother of Dr. Mildred Fay Jefferson, the first Black woman to graduate from Harvard School of Medicine. And she was the second president of National Right to Life. And so that was just absolutely a wonderful experience working with that film. I pray everybody sees it. Father Dennis, have you seen the film?
I saw the film, and I think it's a wonderful thing that we have that. And talking about Mildred Jefferson, I was going to mention that because you played the very fine role there of her mother. I had the honor of having her at our house, really, our rectory, after she gave a talk in New England. This goes way back to 1974. She was already, I think, at that time, she was president of the National Right to Life. But she came up after her talk and visited for a while with us. And I distinctly remember that, and very powerful lady. I loved her hats too, as she wore. But the movie itself, it's an amazing thing. You know, how many people even know what Roe v. Wade is? Some young people today, we hear them, it's tossed around, but what does it really mean? And the way that the movie portrayed the justices and their collusion with Planned Parenthood and other organizations that were promoting abortion. So when we look at this, it's a very entangled kind of thing. It's very simple. This is murder. I'm sorry, it's murder.
It is. It kills babies in the womb. It kills human beings.
It's very
Yes.
entangled, though. And,
Yes.
and that's the important thing to recognize, that we need to pray for these people who make these decisions, that they can be illuminated with the wisdom of God rather than their own legal or medical combination of things, you know?
Father Dennis, you're so right. The babies need to be free. And this is life and liberty from the womb to the tomb today, my friends. I want to ask you, Father Dennis, to have the closing words for this show, whatever you will share with us now, to remember about life and liberty, especially for the babies.
Thank you. I'd like to go back to Thomas Jefferson's words. You know, they're engraved. They're very public. They're engraved in the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. And again, we mentioned this before, but the God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. The hand of force may destroy, but cannot disjoin them. I think there's a lot of insight into that. We recognize, first of all, the God. That's the beginning. It's not we who the people decided this, we have an amendment and so on. It's beginning with God. And you brought that out beautifully in Let Freedom Ring. It has to be brought out because we've seen so much, even on the streets this past year, the way things are implying that the people are stretching their muscles for rights, but don't bring God into the picture as the author of all rights. Okay, so that's so important. The God who gave us life gave us liberty. Why did Jefferson say that? Because he knew that in fighting for freedom, which he was, of course, contemporary with the wars that were going on against England and so forth to gain our freedom, also cost lives. They cost lives. But in this case, we're talking about lives that are to be protected. In the case of the babies, from the womb to tomb, it's something which we really overlook, and we see rights so much. Championing rights, good. And it's a great thing that our country has a legal system that respects rights, but some rights are not respected. And those are the most important ones. And they're the ones in the womb. And if we don't have that right, I just got a letter from, it was an email sent out by one of the senators of this country, and he's asking, he said, these are some different things, that rights that a child has. And they're pushing the idea of an amendment or a bill in the Senate on this, but it says nothing about the rights of the unborn. And I replied and I said, I agree with you on all those rights. We should champion all those rights, but they are meaningless if the child cannot live, if the child doesn't have the right to live in the first place from the womb. So this celebration of 4th of July is great to the extent that we recognize our freedom as rooted in God's law. And when we follow God's law, my goodness, our rights are going to be protected.
Amen, amen, and amen. I agree. And we're right out of time. So I think that we could leave it right there.
Oh, God bless you.
Words of Jefferson. And let freedom ring, life and liberty. From the womb to the tomb. Amen.